Canada Post says it expects to lose up to 30,000 employees to retirement or voluntary departure over the next decade. Its CEO says the Crown Corporation will use attrition first to downsize from the roughly 62,000 employees it had at the end of last year. Canada Post has struggled recently as labor disputes and declines in letter mail have strained the business. The company's CFO said in an annual meeting today the Crown Corporation is effectively insolvent. Losses in the first 9 months of the year topped $1 billion as it had to rely on loans from Ottawa to stay afloat. With me now is Ian Lee, business analyst with the Sprott School of Business at Carleton University. Ian, welcome. Your reaction to this announcement from Canada Post?
Well, it's no surprise. We've seen it coming. Last year was the largest loss on record, about $1 billion. And the CFO today at that meeting said it's probably this year is going to be worse than last year. In other words, they're going to set a new record. It could come in around $1.5 billion. So that doesn't surprise me. I mean, they're hemorrhaging cash because their volumes are down. The letters are way down, almost 70%. They're losing market share in parcels because of the strike and other reasons that are related to service. But what struck me today, Renee, was when the CEO said, well, we're going to downsize through attrition 30,000 over the next 10 years. They don't have 10 years. They're losing over $1 billion, maybe $1.5 billion a year. And the Prime Minister, not me, the Prime Minister said only a month ago or so, this is unsustainable and unacceptable. So I'm not sure why the CEO threw that metric or that statistic out today about 30,000 attrition over 10 years when I don't think they have that amount of runway. They don't have that amount of time.
So what do you suggest it work to do this more quickly?
Well, I think it's going to be driven by reality. In fact, at that meeting, the CEO said, well, we got 10 years, we're going to do, the attrition. And yet the CFO is saying we're effectively insolvent. So there's mixed messaging coming out here. I mean, if you're effectively insolvent, no company has 10 years to be effectively insolvent because nobody's going to fund them to be insolvent for 10 years. So it seems that I don't know if they're doing it to try to reduce the sting to the unions and the workers. Maybe they're trying to make it a little bit more palatable that we're working to do other things other than just downsizing. But I do think that when that new plan is released by the government, and it's in another week or two, it should be released, I think we're going to be stunned at the size of the downsizing that they're going to instruct Canada Post to carry out.
I was going to ask you what 30,000 fewer workers would mean for Canadian individuals and businesses who send and receive mail, but it sounds like you don't think that we will be there in 10 years' time.
Well, I don't, but your question where you started to ask, what's it going to look like? You're absolutely right to ask that, because it suggests again that the government has decided on some reductions in service that are going to allow those kinds of reductions. And that to me points to a 5-day-a-week delivery. That is by far and away the most expensive in terms of the demands of workers, of labor at Canada Post. They're going to 17.5 million addresses, business and residential, 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year. If you reduce that to 1 day a week, 2 days a week, you're going to need thousands and thousands of people less. Tie that into elimination of door-to-door delivery to the 25% that still receive door-to-door. And again, you're talking very large reductions. So those numbers they're tossing around today suggest that they're going in that direction, the end of home delivery and the reduction from 5-day-a-week delivery.
All right, Ian, that's our time. Thank you so much for being here. It was great chatting with you as always.
Thanks very much, Renee. Thank you.
That's Ian Lee, business analyst with Carleton University.